Greetings. One of the aspects of More Than Mindfulness Mondays, if you've been, is that we use a still sound meditation every session. And what we do is we use this to center ourselves for our creative mindfulness practice, whichever one we may be doing that evening. What I might recommend is if you want to do this meditation, maybe do use the body scan video that is also up on the Facebook page before doing this meditation. The body scan is a great prep for any time you're doing any sort of meditation. But again, the meditation that we're going to do today is a still sound meditation. And the idea behind this meditation is one of simplicity. And before we get any further, I just want to make sure that anytime we talk about meditation, anytime we talk about contemplation, it's really important to remember that we do as we can, not as we should. If we get too caught up in the shoulds, we can lose the intent of our meditation, of our contemplation. Our intent, ideally, is always to be present, to be aware, to be aware of what's going on within you, what's going on around you, that a deep abiding stillness that may be within you. This is the awareness that we're attempting to tune into, to pay attention to as we do any sort of meditation practice, contemplative practice. The still sound meditation is based on the idea that we have this notion of silence as being central to meditation and to contemplation. But if you've ever been with us at More Than Mindfulness Monday at the coffee shop at Bump and Grind, you'll know that that it is not silent in that space. In fact, there's a fair amount of noise, as there would be in any coffee shop. And the reality is even when we find ourselves in any sort of sanctuary, there's always noises. It may be the settling of the building, it may be other folks that you're meditating with, their ankles creaking, just kind of breathing a little heavily. Here, where I am, a lot of times I'll hear buses outside, or I might catch the dishwasher humming. Any of these sounds can actually become your centering point for meditation. Now, there's a couple ways to do this, and there's no kind of right way to do it. If it's right, it's developing awareness of the sense and a sense of presence abiding with us as stillness. But there are a couple ways that we can do this particular practice. One is that we imagine the sound simply as vibration, that all sound is connected. So regardless of what that sound may be, that it's vibration, and that those vibrations all come together, that they're not really distinguished, they're not really separate. And in this process, when we start to imagine these sounds as kind of continuous waves moving through the air, we let go of judgment attached to the sound. So the first thing we'll do is if one hears a sound in the midst of our meditation practice, is to kind of let go of judging that sound. And then the second piece is letting go also of identifying or trying to name the sound, to simply let the sound be, and to focus in on kind of the continuous nature of the sound. Now, another option is, let's say for me, again, I tend to have, if the dishwasher is going, if there's kind of a general low, kind of almost white noise sound, you can really focus in on that sound if it maintains. Another option, and this is one that's fairly popular in the coffee house because the sounds tend to be kind of jumping out. You may be familiar with the notion in a meditation hall about how when the bell is rung, that bell is an opportunity to recenter, to refocus, to bring ourselves back to the center. So you can imagine that any sound that you may hear during your practice, think of it as a meditation bell. And again, this might be useful if you're in a particularly noisy place. Any one of these or any other kind of variation on this that you want to do, the idea behind it, as we attempt to move into stillness, our minds tend to kind of run in different directions and thoughts come up. And we don't necessarily want to bash those thoughts out of the way, but we want to notice those thoughts and we want to bring ourselves back into the center. And it's the sounds that we hear that we can focus on to bring ourselves back into the center. And again, whether we're using that sound kind of as a continuum, recognizing it all as a wave, or whether we're using that sound as almost as a bell, or just as kind of a low focal point that we focus ourselves into. Any one of those are an opportunity for us when we notice the thoughts arising to simply return back to the still center. And we're going to do 10 minutes of meditation. So that means that over the course of the meditation, over 10 minutes, you may have many opportunities to recenter yourself. And each one of these opportunities, again, let us think of it as an opportunity. In 10 minutes, you may have 40 or 50 opportunities to return to your center. That's an opportunity to practice our awareness, to practice coming back to the center, to practice finding that stillness that abides deep within us. So what we'll do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the timer here in a few seconds. I'm going to start us out with the bell, and we'll have 10 minutes to rest in silence, to allow the sounds around us to be that centering point, the thing that brings us to center. So that, let us begin. out of your practice, slowly open your eyes, maybe wiggle your toes, your fingers a little bit. And when you're in this space, when you're here with us, remember that this practice, it's not for ourselves, for we are all united in community. This practice is really for our communities, for we are not alone. Even in this time of social isolation, we truly are united. And in this practice, we more deeply unite with those around us. May you rest in stillness and intent. And on behalf of the Center for the Holy Imagination, thank you for taking the time to meditate